Nurse Gina, Gary Samanski, welcome to my living room.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
You are wearing the latest fashion accessory, the surgical mask. You look beautiful.
We had to get them down just so we could talk here.
Exactly. Well, we're all keeping 6 feet away from each other. You two are the founders and partners of the Germ Buster system. Your commercial was featured on HIP New Jersey's debut show on News 12 Plus this past Saturday. So I thank you for that. I'm very happy that we were able to get the good word out to our viewers. So enlighten our audience. What is the Germ Buster system?
Gary?
You want me to enlighten? I'll enlighten. So the Germ Buster system is a two-step process for reducing the transmission of germs on surfaces, particularly high-touch surfaces, and also a protective process that protects these surfaces for up to 30 days from contamination and from people having to touch surfaces and have to transmit germs to themselves or to others. So you get a 30-day protection with our product.
That is awesome. How did you come up with the concept of it and the science?
So this has been going on for a couple of years in my head. About a year ago, Gina and I got together and started discussing this. And there are many different methods or ideas, but I've come to the conclusion that the best method or the most effective method for doing the treatment is a electrostatic procedure, which basically is almost like spraying, but with a positive charge on the particle. So it's a very fine particle that's sprayed with a positive charge that attracts itself to surfaces and envelops surfaces rather than landing on them, making it very effective at killing germs.
Unbelievable. And then where, Nurse Gina, how did you come into play?
Like Gary said, about a year ago, we had been talking about it. We've worked side by side for the last 4 years together. I have my own environmental business where I do indoor air quality assessments, and Gary also has an environmental business. So we collaborate on different projects and so forth. And we had both been talking about this because we go into people's homes and businesses on a regular basis. And we realize that cleaning is one thing, but disinfecting is another thing. And realize that we help people anyway in the indoor environment. This would just be another step, and it would be something to do as a preventative measure, not necessarily a pandemic measure. We never even imagined this.
I mean, nobody did, but talk about being in the right place at the right time. You just launched your business a year ago, and I can't think of a more important business right now than what you two are doing.
Absolutely, for sure. We're grateful to be able to do it, and thank God we had all our protective wear that we have ordered over the last 8 months or so. So because we couldn't get anything otherwise, we just had to wait on our solution for 3 weeks. So we were very low on solution, and we just received our shipment. We had to wait 3 weeks on it. So it's tough to get stuff, but we're lucky to have stuff in-house.
Absolutely. So what have you been doing during this pandemic? What kind of companies or organizations or even residential areas have you gone into?
Sure. So we have presently been focusing on essential businesses such as nursing homes, urgent cares, and then we do residential. We haven't marketed to residential. We really haven't marketed at all other than our Facebook page. And mainly it's been word of mouth, and it has been urgent cares, physical therapy, this type of stuff. I recently, yesterday, called ShopRite because I know that there's been some outbreaks in some of their places, but they already have in-house people. A lot of the bigger companies have in-house companies that they have brought in. So we're just going with the smaller companies at this point.
Yeah, but hey, they need the help too, and
Sure.
We're accessible to them.
Absolutely.
So Gary, is it's non-toxic, this product, obviously, right? It means
Correct.
you're going into supermarkets, for example, it's not ruining produce or anything.
So this is really important that you brought this up, because you're going to find, and as you go through your Facebook feed, you're going to see 100 disinfection companies popping up at this point with their sponsored ads. Cleaners, we call them, what we call them back in the days, like, because I perform a lot of environmental work, is like cowboys. You know, they come in when the bad thing happens, and they're using products that are probably not the safest, okay? Because we know that the safest products, they're on back order. You can hardly even get them. So when something is, they say EPA approved, that's great. But what rating is it given by the EPA? Because there's 4 ratings by the EPA. You're going to get a 1 to 4, 4 being the safest rating. So just because something's EPA approved does not mean it's safe. Germ Busters uses only EPA rated for disinfectants, which is the safest you can find.
And water-based and non-toxic.
No, that is
and non-corrosive.
Even better, even better. So obviously you two are keeping busy in quarantine life, although I guess you're not really quarantined because you're working so much.
Sure. Yep. But we, the good thing about what we're doing when we go to places, there's nobody there except maybe one person to let us in, and they don't usually stay around. You know, they may be outside or whatever, but then we're fully suited with coveralls and mask, gloves, and eyewear. So we're fully covered before we even go in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, because you're you're in this, not that you're in the infectious disease industry, you're more the environmental side, but in your estimation, how long do you think this is going to go on for?
Personally, the coronavirus, I think, is going to be with us forever. It's just a matter of, when will there be a vaccine? And once there is a vaccine, I think it's going to be important, maybe not as important, but Gary and I started this as a preventative business because germs are invisible, as everybody knows. And from what we've seen now and what can happen in the future, I think that it isn't unlikely that this could come back. Maybe not corona, but maybe something else. And I think that we just need to protect our environment all the time, because cleaning doesn't get rid of microorganisms. Cleaning only gets rid of soiled areas and dust and debris. It doesn't get rid of the microorganisms that are what is affecting us, the viruses and bacteria and mold. So I think that we need to consider that and need to educate people. I mean, before I started this, I had no idea what disinfection was. I thought cleaning was fine, but learning, and there's a great tutorial on the CDC offers continuing education classes for people who are interested. And they have some great stuff on there that talks about the difference between cleaning and disinfecting. So I think we're gonna have to do it forever, all of us.
Yeah. Gary, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, this was what Gina said. I mean, this was always in our minds, because we didn't come into this with this COVID issue. We had a long-term strategy. Our strategy is we started this business with a plan on reducing the transmission of infection, and that includes everything from MRSA. We get a lot of transmission things that are going on in schools and gyms, and this stuff's always been going on. This has just brought it to the forefront. I think everybody is going to have to look at this from a long-term strategy rather than, all right, everything's fine, let's move on.
Yeah. Where in New Jersey are you based?
Our shop here is in Ocean Township, and right next to Wegmans, where everybody's online.
You just go buy them and spray them.
Well, we have offered that to some of the bigger supermarkets. I think it would be a great idea, but they're doing a good job of keeping everybody separated, and they're wiping down the carts. They're offering sanitizing wipes. I mean, I think some businesses are doing better than others.
Yeah, of course. Of course. So where do you travel to? Is it just Ocean County or you go all over Jersey?
Go all over New Jersey, New York City, until they, didn't let anybody in. We were going to New York City, Long Island, Pennsylvania. We'll go anywhere in the tri-state area. There's not a lot of people doing what we're doing. The most unique thing about our system is the second step of our system, which allows us to spray our product on surfaces and high touch areas that will last for up to 30 days. So it's a month. Our system is a monthly system. We come in once a month and treat your facility or your home, and then we make arrangements, and we'd like to come back within a month, close to that 30 days. And that's what's unique about Germ Buster system. We offer this second product that allows us to prevent the transmission of germs. If somebody comes into your house 2 weeks after we were there and they have germs on their hand and touch your surface, that germ it won't live. It will die. From a mechanical perspective, from a physics perspective, it's going to die because the protectant that is put onto the surface has spikes attached to it. And all this information, if anybody's interested, can certainly email us. We have efficacy testing results and stuff that we can share to show how it actually works, since you can't see it.
Yeah. Well, what's your email address and what's your website?
Sure. The website is thegermbustersystem.com, and our email, I'm Nurse Gina at germbustersystem.com, and Gary at germbustersystem.com.
Just take the out of the Germ Buster system. It's germbustersystem.com.
Germ Buster.
Oh, did I say the? Oh.
You ever love saying the?
I got preoccupied because I wanted to. Can I say something about
what is that?
The New England Journal of Medicine just published a study that they did on the coronavirus on surfaces. And I have it. If anybody wants it, I can send it to you or send you the link to it. So the virus lives the longest on plastic. It lasts up to 72 hours, almost 3 days on plastic. And that's any germs. That's not just the coronavirus. That's any germs. And then stainless steel, it lives up to 2 days. Cardboard, up to 2 days. Copper, 4 hours. And in the air, 3 hours. So if somebody coughed or sneezed, the droplets would remain aerosolized for up to 3 hours, it looks like.
Okay, so the scariest thing of everything you just read, besides the air, because that's unbelievable, is the cardboard. Because right now we're all living by Amazon. And I just got a big shipment in yesterday of all kinds of supplies, all in cardboard boxes or in brown paper bags with the Amazon Fresh. That is really scary.
It certainly is, but Amazon has also taken many, many precautions, and the people who are stocking those boxes have gloves on, have masks on. So from that perspective, they are taking measures necessary. What you could do is leave the cardboard box outside, unless it's something that has to be refrigerated. Leave it outside for 2 days. Bring it in after 2 days, and and maybe spray it down with a disinfectant. Use some Lysol or something, and then leave it out there for a couple days, and then open it up and bring the stuff in.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it's important that we never got into this business to fearmonger. I think there's a lot of fear going on right now. So there needs to be some sort of balance with this, and I agree. It's scary stuff, but this, like I said, we have never gotten this business to do fear mongering or anything like that. We got into this business because we're very passionate about what we do. And we've been in the environmental field for so long. We just love invisible things. And we've always been interested in that. And that's kind of where our relationship started.
Well,
yeah, go ahead, Jake.
One of the things that we didn't mention is when we work with people, mainly people that do a monthly contract with us, we will be able to tell you the dirtiest place in your facility. We have a germ meter that it's called an ATP meter, and we go in with a swab and we collaborate with the owner to see what areas do you want tested. Do you want the front desk tested? Do you want the exam room tested? And we pick 4 to 6 spots, and we check the level of germs before we do our treatment, and then we check the level of germs after we do our treatment. And then the next month we test again, and we kind of see, where is the dirtiest place, and that's always helpful and effective for homeowners and business owners.
I never knew that there was a device that can do that. I've heard of ghost hunters that have the device, and you're kind of doing the same thing, right?
Yeah, they use it. It was made for the food industry, for food sanitation and stuff. But it's also used in the environmental world as well. It's called an ATP meter, if anybody wanted to look it up.
Yeah, is that something, I mean, it's probably thousands of dollars, but is that something that a consumer could buy, or is a product? Oh, you could buy it. Okay.
I'm sure you can.
Pricey.
Yeah, no, I mean, but I wonder if there's a consumer level of that.
I'm not certain. It doesn't tell you what type of germ. It just it gives you a number range. And the range that we want is below 25 or 30. So when we see 1,700, 1,800, we're concerned. But we don't know what type of germ unless we were to take a swab and send it to our, we have third-party accredited laboratories that we use for our environmental work. We can send that there, but it's not always necessary unless somebody wanted to know, and then we can certainly offer that service.
This is so interesting. I never thought having a conversation about germs could be so cool, but with every new point you bring up, I'm just in awe at your company and what you've developed and, the science behind it.
Even more cooler is mold.
True. We are true moldies,
Oh, tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah.
I can tell you stories on that. We'll do another session, and we'll tell you about our mold.
That would take hours.
Yeah.
I mean, mold is very interesting. I mean, we've been working with immune-compromised people for a long time, and as the same with this virus, mold is a big problem for people who are immunocompromised. So the connection is closer than you would think.
And it's nice to go into people's homes and find the problem, and then have them get it fixed, and then see them get better afterwards. That's the best part for me, for sure, and I think for Gary as well.
So I
just like getting in crawl spaces.
Yeah. So what about new construction? Do you suggest enlisting your services to clean off new construction residue?
Well, in what aspect? Are we talking about disinfection, or are we talking about the mold?
Both.
Well, I can tell you this. I just remediated a house that has not been moved into. It's not uncommon that the building practices used today are not that great. So a lot of times we have builders leaving wood out in the rain. They're leaving the roof off of the house for a while. This house I just did was a 4,200 square foot crawl space, just loaded with mold, and none of the electrical is in, none of the HVAC is in, and we already had to remediate the whole crawl space. So it's more common than you think with new construction that we have microbial issues. Especially, it's better if you catch it, because a lot of times they put the walls up and we won't know until somebody's sick. And then when it's a hidden issue, then it becomes a lot more difficult to figure out and to fix.
Okay. No,
So as far as disinfection, yeah, what's your thoughts on that, Gina, as far as new construction goes?
I mean, I think that there's certain ways to clean. You hire somebody to come and wipe stuff down. You use a machine, an aerolized machine that sends out the solution, or you use UV light. And most of us are hiring people, I mean, to go out and clean. But disinfection is different than cleaning. So I think anybody can benefit from disinfection because we're not necessarily doing it 100%. The most important thing with disinfection is the dwell time. So when we go in and we require our clients to have a clean environment, their place has to be clean within 5 to 7 days of us coming there, so the system can work more effectively. But when you spray a disinfectant in your home or at a business, you want to let it dwell for 10 minutes before you even wipe it down, because
that's a great point. I mean, a lot of people, what they do, they spray their countertop and they immediately wipe it off, right? Dwell time is important. Reading instructions is important. These types of chemicals, they're supposed to be applied by the label, okay? So a lot of times when some of these products are like a 10-second kill time, they're usually the most toxic products, right? The ones that you use that require longer kill times, it needs to dwell for approximately 10 minutes to be effective. And cleaning, although does not kill germs, is very important in the process of disinfection. The areas, areas that are soiled with organic material need to be pre-cleaned in order for disinfection to be as effective as you want it to be.
And the EPA actually just sent out, we're on their list, so we get their emails. They just sent out an email about all the disinfectants that are effective against the coronavirus. And there's a link there. So anybody can email us, and we can even actually have it put up on our page, a link to that, so people can go. I just got an email from a girlfriend who said, what do you think about this proposal from a cleaning company? And I looked at it, and the one thing that popped out to me was that they said that their product was registered with the CDC. And the CDC doesn't register disinfectant products, it's the EPA. So that was the first thing that I was just sort of warned her on. And it was reasonable, their service. It was under $100. It's apples and oranges. With us, it's a completely different service that we're offering. But I would recommend, if anybody has hired somebody or wants to hire somebody, that you ask for their MSDS forms, their material safety data form for the product they're using before they come in. And that will tell you the category. And you do want it to be a category 4, not a category 2, because of pesticides and stuff. And you want to make sure that it's non-toxic. So I would ask for that form before hiring anybody, but we will have the link up on our webpage.
All right, give it to me one more time. What's your website?
You want me to? Germ Buster System, germbustersystem.com.
All right. Well, Gary, Nurse Gina, this was so fun. Again, I'm in disbelief that we had a half-hour conversation about germs, and it could honestly go on even longer. So we got to do this again.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
And congratulations on your business.
Thank you.
And please keep healthy and safe as you go into these areas.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.